Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball, the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on February 22nd, 2023. If you'd like to support my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in a Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. Okay, in this video I'll be updating and making my picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is where I eliminate numbers and try to get it down to the 5 correct winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so the first thing that you'll see is that I have 5 colors: red, orange, green, blue, purple. And those colors represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning Powerball numbers that just came up were the 3, 17, 26, 38, and 54. The Powerball number was 15, but I'm only concerned about these 5 white ball numbers right now. Okay, so you can see I put these 5 white ball numbers, winning Powerball numbers right here. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some colors to it like I did here in the past. Okay, so I'm going to get the colors off of the game card. You can see this game card was for February 20th. And now I need to update it to the 22nd. Okay, so the 3 is purple. The 17 and 26 are red. The 38 is green. And the 54 is red. So again, I'm going to color these in. So the 17, 26, and 54 were red. And the 38 was green. And of course the 3 was purple. Okay, so how many colors do I have total? I have 3 colors total that came up. And now I'm going to make this, actually I already updated this. I have 213 drawings that I kept track of so far. And now a 3 color combination has now come up 101 times. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to eliminate all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers. The orange, green, blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer these 15 numbers from the red area over to the game card as red numbers. Okay, so I'm going to start in with the 3, 17, 26, 38, and 54. Next line down is the 8, the 21, the 31, 32, and 37. And the last line is the 31, 32, which is already taken. The 54 is already taken, so the 60 and 63. So again, I'm going to make these red. And now I'm going to count how many red numbers I have on my game card. So over here I got 5, and 1 is 6, 2 are 8, 2 are 10, and 2 are 12. So I'm going to leave this alone at 12. And now I'm going to move on to the orange area, where I'm going to take these 20 numbers and transfer them over to the game card as orange numbers. Okay, so you can see that the 17, 26, 37 is already taken, so I'll go with the 61 and 65. Next line down is the 10, the 23, the 30, 54 is taken, and the 65 is taken. So next line down is the 52, the 58, 59, 64, and 66. And the last line is the 5, the 11, 22, 23 is taken, and 69. So again, I'm going to make these orange. Now I'm going to count how many orange numbers I have. So I got 4, 2 are 6, 4 are 10, and 4 are 14. So up here I'm going to make this 14. Okay, and now I'd move on to the green, then the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. But I already did this, so I'm going to just copy and paste this. And here's my game card for February 22nd, 2023. So again, I had 12 red numbers, 14 orange, turned out to be 15 green, 18 blue, and 10 purple numbers. Okay, so why this is important that I do this like this is because this gives me a consistent double-digit number per color, if that makes sense. Okay, and why that's important is because it's so consistent, giving me these double-digit numbers here per color. When you have consistency, then things can become predictable. Okay, so as you can see, I kept track of 213 drawings. 101 drawings have come up with a 3-color combination. So that's the most. So when that happens, then 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. Okay, so I want to try to correctly guess what colors will not be coming up. Okay, so you can see that all 5 colors do come up. It's come up 16 times out of 213 drawings. So it comes up, but it's very rare. Okay, so looking at this, you can see that a 3-color combination has come up a lot recently. So I think this next one is going to be a 4. 4 comes up an awful lot as well, 82 times out of 213 drawings. So I think this is going to be a 4, which only 1 color will not be coming up. And when that happens, you know, it's really hard to pick. So for this drawing, I'm not going to pick a color. Okay, I'm just going to move on to the next strategy, which is called the individual numbers. Okay, so here's the individual numbers. Okay, you can see that the 3, 17, 26, 38, 54 is what has come up. Okay, so here's the 3, and as I come down to this line where these winning numbers are, you can see that the 3 is purple, so I made this square purple. You can see the 17 is red, and I made this 17 red over here. Okay, so the game card and the individual numbers go hand in hand like this. And the reason why I do this and what I look for is I look for a color that hasn't come up in a while. Okay, so you can see here, you can see 4 of the colors, red, orange, green, purple. I don't see any blue. And as I keep on scrolling down, here's a blue number right here. Okay, so hasn't come up in a little while, so maybe a blue number is due to come up right here. So I'm going to look on the game card to see what numbers of 1 through 9, see if there's any blue numbers there. Okay, so I got the 6 and the 7. So maybe one of these 2 numbers will be coming up in this drawing, or maybe even both. Or if not this drawing, really soon. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. And what I did is I divided the 69 numbers into 7 different groups. So here's group number 1, the 1 through 9. This is the only group with 9 numbers, where the other 6 have 10 numbers to it, for 69 numbers. And what I look for is this square right here. This is good for 5 drawings. And the reason why I broke it down into 5 is so I could look down here and I could say, okay, let's say a red number hasn't come up in a while. And here's a red number, so it's been 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You know, finally it came up here in the red. Okay, so it's just easier for me to count how many drawings, okay? But what I noticed is that since I did break it down into 5 drawings like this, I noticed that the average is 4 hits like this. So when I see more than 4, then I kind of picked this to have no winning Powerball numbers come up. Okay, so the one that stands out to me is the 30 numbers right here. You can see that in the last two drawings here, 6 numbers have come up. And, you know, it could be more. You know, there could be, I've seen as many as 10 before. But the thing is here's where the betting comes in, okay? I'm going to spend $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. So basically what I'm saying is that I'm going to bet my $3 that none of these 30 numbers are going to come up in this next drawing. So can a 30 number come up? Yeah, absolutely it can, okay? But I'm going to bet that no 30 numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. I'm going to go to the game card. And I'm going to eliminate the 30 numbers off of my game card. And hopefully none of them come up. Okay, so when I block out numbers like this means I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so usually I would pick a color. I'm not going to do that this drawing, so I just went to the individual numbers and I removed the 30 numbers. Okay, so now I'm moving on to the next strategy. Okay, so this is my groups. All right, this is group 4. I got group 6. I got group 8. And I got group 10. Okay, so the reason why I call it group 4 is I simply took all the 69 numbers and divided it into 4 different color groups. Okay, so here I'm going to update this here. Okay, so the 3 was in the red. The 17 was in the red, so I'm going to put a 2 down here. This represents the 3 and 17. And then the 26 was in blue. The 38 was in orange. And the 54 was in green. Okay, so I hit all 4 color groups. And the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side. So I'm going to keep this 4 red. If the majority was over here to the right side, I would color this 4 green. Okay, so if there's 2 hits and 1 miss, like these 3 here, I color it a light red. And if there's 3 hits like this, I color it a dark red, just to give me some separation. Same thing with if there's 2 misses and a hit, then I color it a light blue. And if there's 3 zeros, I color it a dark blue. Again, to give me some separation here, okay? So there was 1 triple hit. And then over here, there was no blue marks. Okay, so here's a blue mark. These are important. Okay, I try to pick out where the blue marks are going to be. So basically you can see this 0 right here with the orange. This is what I'm looking for, because there was no winning Powerball numbers in this orange area for this drawing. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that, I could have eliminated all the orange numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Okay, so moving on. You can see that I got nothing on the top here. Okay, and with this I got 7 of these option cards. And at the end of the 7, I have an overview of what happened for all 7 option cards. Okay, so there was 1 missing the red. There was 2 misses in the orange and 1 miss in the green. There was no misses in the blue at all. Okay? So the reason why I keep this like this is if I can correctly guess where a 7-0 is going to come up, then that means that all these option cards, like let's say the orange, let's say I predict that this is going to be 7-0. Well, all the option cards in orange will have a hit to it. So one of these orange numbers will be coming up. And then one of these orange numbers will be coming up. And then one of these orange numbers. So I'll look at all of them and I'll try to correctly guess what the numbers are going to be coming up. Okay? So again, I have group 4. I got group 6. Group 6. Well, with this group 6, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 6 different color groups here. So I know that one of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so with group 8, I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so I got more of an advantage picking from group 8 than group 4. But if I could get this group 4 correct, I can knock out up to 17 numbers. And if I could get one of these on group 8 here, I could knock out 8 numbers, maybe even 9. Okay, so the next one is group 10. This is the best one, because again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers and there's 10 of these color groups. So the odds of me getting this correct, picking where the 0 is going to be, is pretty good. But it only knocks out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. Okay, so I also have Powerball number 2. And with this, I have another group 4 here, but you can see I have some numbers here at the top. Okay, so going through this real quick, the 3 and the 26 is in blue. The 17 and 38 is in green. And the 54 is in red. So there's no winning Powerball numbers in the orange. And again, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this 0. So this is basically what I'm looking for as well, where I see a bunch of hits in a row. It's been 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 22 hits in a row for these red numbers. So the thing is when's it going to miss? When is there finally going to be a 0 here? Okay, so I'm going to move on to Powerball number 3. And here you can see that I have 2 numbers at the top. And this is the best one to choose from, okay? So the reason why I have these staggered like this is that when the Powerball drawing goes off, I'll be updating this and putting another number here. So this will have 2 numbers. And here I'll be putting 1 number here, so I'll have 1 number. And then with this one, I'll be putting a 3rd number here and putting colors to it. Okay, so again, I have them staggered like this, so I always have 2 numbers like this going on. And again, this is the best, in my opinion, the best one to choose from, because now I can use this over here, which will tell me how many 0 or how many blue marks I had. The last one had 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So with this one right here, I got 1, 2, and 3 already. The lowest one here is 4, so maybe there'll be at least one more. And that could be either the red, the blue, the purple, the brown, or the light blue. Another thing that I get to use now, since I have two numbers here, is I get to try to correctly guess how many triple zeros there are going to be. So again, I have an opportunity of 1, 2, 3 triple zeros. And I also have a triple hit, which doesn't come up as much. And for the triple hits, I got the orange and turquoise. Okay, so I'm going to start here with Powerball number 3. And I'm going to make a prediction here of where a zero is going to come up. Okay, so you can see with this green, triple zero just came up. Then here in the yellow, triple zero hasn't come up in a little while. And then in the pink, it's been right here. So my prediction is the triple zero is going to be here in the yellow. Okay, so another reason why I have 4, 6, 8, and 10 all even numbers like this is so I could have the advantage of where the winning Powerball numbers are per side. Okay, where's the majority of the numbers? Alright, so again, I put a 5 here. It was green. That tells me that the majority of the numbers were over here to the right side. If it was red, then the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side. Okay, so I'm going to go with this yellow, so I marked it. And the reason why I mark it blue is when I come back and update this, I can look at this and say, okay, I got this correct. None of these yellow numbers came up. Or I got it wrong and one of these yellow numbers came up. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 4, 11, 18, 44, 63, 49, 58. So again, I'll go with the 4, 11, 18. I remember the 49, 58. And the 4463. So I'll get rid of those numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. I got 3 of these option cards. And as I look over here, you can see it's a bunch of green. So the majority of the numbers have been coming up over here on this right side. So I'm going to predict that this next number is going to be red. So I think the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side. So I'm going to look over here to try to correctly guess where the zeros are going to be. And you can see that a triple zero hasn't come up in a while in this light blue. And it has an opportunity to be a triple zero here. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with the light blue. And I'm going to get rid of the 11, 22, 27, 56, 43, 51, 60. So I'll get rid of the 22, 27. The 43, 51, 60. And the 56. So I'll get rid of those numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. Again, you can see that it's been red a lot. So I'm going to predict that this next number is going to be green. And just looking at this one, it looks like this yellow may be coming up. So if it does come up, then it's going to be either the 6, 16, 26, 42, 50, 58. One of these numbers, or maybe even two of them, may be coming up. I know I got rid of the 11, so that's why I didn't say the 11. Okay, so again, I think the majority of the numbers will be over here on this side. And you can see the triple zeros, you know, there's usually at least one of them. And here's a 0 right here, but for the most part, there's usually a triple zero that comes up. And I'm going to say it's going to be here in the orange. So I'll get rid of these orange numbers to 28, 30, 40, 41, 48, 66. So I'll get rid of those numbers, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so now I got the overview. So here with this turquoise, you can see that there was 3 hits in all 3 option cards in the turquoise. And there's 3 misses in all 3 option cards of the pink. Okay, so we'll check that out real quick. This is option card number 1. You can see that there was a hit in the turquoise and a miss in the pink. For the second one, there was a hit in the turquoise and no hit in the pink. And the last one, there was a hit in the turquoise and no hit in the pink. Okay? So as I look at this, I try to pick the one where it's going to be a 0, 3. Okay? You can see, you know, they're all pretty close to the top. Except for this turquoise, which hasn't come up in a little while. So maybe this will be due to have a 0, 3 to it. Okay, but I already picked one, you know, and I know that there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 10 of these colored groups. So I know that 5 of these colored groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. But still, if I already picked one, and let's say I get this correct, and a 0 comes up right here, the odds of me getting a second one correct just go way, way up. So I just like to pick at one and move on to the next, to my next option cards. Okay, so this was 3A. Now I'm going to go to 3B, where I have another 3 option cards here with the 10 color group. Okay, so again, I'm going to go through the same thing. I want to look for the triple zeros. I got the blue, orange, purple. You can see over here it's been pretty green, which means the majority of the Powerball numbers have been coming up over here. And I kind of think that this is going to be a red number, so I think the majority of the numbers will be coming up over on this side. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go right to the overview. And And again, I want to pick where I think a 03 is going to come up. You can see in this blue, a 03 hasn't come up in a while, so maybe that's due to come up. You can see lots of times that the 03 will double up or even triple up, like over here. And I'm looking at this turquoise. You know, it's doubled up way down here. So maybe it's due to double up again. So I'm gonna, like mainly look at the blue and the turquoise. So I'm gonna hit the home button. It will bring me back to option card number 1. And I do have a 000 opportunity here in the blue. And I think I'm going to go with this. So I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers off of my game card. And it's the 62 to the 68. So I'll get rid of the 62, 64, 65, 67, and 68. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to option card number 2. Here it is with the blue. Maybe this will double up, like over here. Another thing that I'm looking at is with this green, you could see that the 000 hasn't come up in a long time. And over here in the light blue, okay, so I'm looking at this, trying to make the correct decision here. I like the blue, I like the green. And I think I'm going to go with the blue. And I'm going to get rid of the 4, 12, 20, 27, the 39, 49, 59. So I'll get rid of the 12, 20, and the 59. And again, hopefully those 3 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 3. One thing I don't like about this blue is that it's never had a triple hit before. It has the opportunity to do that. So I'm just going to leave this one alone, and I'm going to move on to group 3C. So again, it's another 10 group with 3 option cards, and I'm just going to go right to the overview. Look for those 03s. So I got the red, blue, orange, green, purple, yellow, turquoise, pink, brown, and light blue, so they're pretty much all to the top. Not a big help, but over here I see in the red had a pretty good streak of hits. Okay, so over here I'm looking at a bunch of red. So I have a feeling that this is going to be a green number, which means that the majority of the numbers will be coming up over on the right side. And certainly this turquoise and the pink look pretty good for a hits. But again, right now I am just looking to eliminate numbers. And I don't really like this one, so I'm going to move on. See a bunch of red over here, so I'm thinking that this is going to be a green, which means I think the majority of the numbers will be over here on the right side. You can see in this blue how it has a hit all the way down through, which is very rare. So I'm going to predict that this is going to be a 0 right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 51, 59, 67, 38, 47, 54, 63. So I get rid of the 54 and the 47. And again, hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. Again, I see a bunch of green over here. And I kind of think that this number is going to be a red. So I think the majority of the numbers will be over on this side. Kind of liking this light blue. Have a 000 to it. But I'm going to leave this alone and I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, so I got a group 6 here with 3 option cards. And I'm going to go right to the overview. Which you can see that a 3-0 comes up a lot more than a 0-3. So here in the pink, I haven't seen a 3-0 in a little while compared to the rest of them. So I'm going to keep an eye on those purples. Here's another thing I look for is here in the orange you can see a single blue, single blue, single blue, single blue, single blue, and finally it doubles up. So the question is, do I think that is this going to double up again? Or there's going to be at least 2 of these option cards with a 0 to it here in the orange. Okay, you can see a 000 doesn't come up very often. So I got 2 of them. I got the red and purple. Maybe they'll both have a hit to it, but I was kind of liking that purple to have a hit. So it's the 18, 19, 20, 28, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 53. Okay, so I'm thinking that one of these purple numbers will be coming up. Again, I see a bunch of red over here, which means the majority of the numbers have been coming up over here to the left side. I think that this is going to be a green number. Okay, so I'm thinking that I'm gonna go with this red. So I know that all these red numbers are gone, so I'm gonna go with the 5, 6, 7, 14, 15, 23. So I'll get rid of those, and hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 2 out of 3. See a bunch of zeros over here for the 000. So maybe it's due to have one. And if it does, the only one that's here is the yellow. You can see that a bunch of green has been coming up, which means the majority of the hits have been over here to the right side. And I think that this is going to be a red number. So I'm looking at this red, saying I think there's going to be a hit. And that's 1 to 11. And I'm going to go with this yellow, saying that it's going to have a 000 to it. So I'm going to get rid of the 58 to the 69. So I'll get rid of the 61 and the 69, and hopefully those two numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to number 3. See a long streak of red right here in this orange. So looking at this, I think that this is going to be a green number, which I believe that the majority of the numbers will be over here on this side. You can see for a triple hit, usually there's at least one. Have this lone 0 right here. Okay, so I got the blue and the yellow. And I'm kind of thinking the yellow. Okay, so I got the 3, 4, 8, 9. I got the 3 and the 8 and the 9 that are still on my game card. Okay, so I really don't like this one, so I'm going to move on. Take a look at the overview real quick. Okay, so I'm moving on to 6B. Again, the thing that stands out to me is all this red over here. Lots of hits. Maybe this will be a 0. A 000 hasn't come up in a little while, and I got an opportunity for the yellow. You can see a bunch of red over here. So I think that this number is going to be green, and I kind of like this green right here. So I still got the 10. Because I think this is going to be green, I don't really want to bet on this yellow one. I'm going to leave this one alone and move on to number 2. Okay, I do have a 000 opportunity. Okay, I'm looking. I don't like it. I'm gonna move on. Kind of like this purple right here. See, it had all kinds of triple hits. So I'm thinking that this is going to be a 0. You see that lots of green through here? And I'm going to go with this purple. So I'll get rid of the 5, 6, 23, 31, 32, which are all gone. And then I'll get rid of the 37, 38, all the way down to the 64, 65. And those are all gone as well. Okay, so this is all I have for the Powerball number 3. So now I'm going to go to Powerball number 2, where I have at least one number at the top, which gives me some kind of clue whether it's going to be a triple hit or a triple miss. I'm looking at all this green over here, and I'm looking at all these hits that run right down through here, which doesn't happen very often. But I'm going to leave this alone and move on. I got 9 of these option cards here. So there's 4 options per option card. So 4 times 9 equals 36. So I have 36 options total. And I feel if I could just get one of these correct, I wouldn't want to push my luck to get 2 correct. Because a lot of times, you know, it hits all 4 color groups. When I do pick from here, I kind of like to pick where zeros come up, because sometimes a 0 will follow a 0, like right here. Okay, so I kind of like this orange right here. It's been really hot. When's it going to cool down? Yeah, I see a lot of red over here. So when's the majority going to flip over to the green side? So here's another thing that I look for. If there's a 0 here and a 0 again, it's going to double up on the blue marks, like this one. Okay, so I'm looking. kind of like this green one right here. It's been really hot. Lots of green over here. Okay, and that's it. That's all I have for this group 4. I know I didn't pick anything. But here in this blue, you can see that all 9 of them, all 9 option cards haven't had a hit in a while. Okay, so I'm going to leave that alone, and I'm going to move on to 8A here. Okay, so here's where I got 8 color groups, and again, there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So I got 3 of these option cards, and then I have an overview. And with the overview, I can see that a lot of purple has been hot lately. You can see here in the blue 0-3s for last 4 drawings. So maybe there'll be a hit here in the blue. Okay, so the first thing I look for is there's been a bunch of green over here, so I'm thinking that this next number is going to be red, which means I believe that the majority of the numbers will be over here to the left side. I'm going to move on. Okay, so I noticed a lot of green over here, so maybe this next one will be a red number. It's kind of looking at this red over here, but if I think the majority of the numbers are going to be over here, I really don't like it. So I'm going to move on. Over here I see a bunch of red. Okay, so I'm going to move on to 8B. Again, looking at this, I see a bunch of red. I'm thinking that this is going to be a green number, which means I believe the majority of the numbers will be over here to the right side. So I'm going to go with this green one right here. Let me go back to the game card real quick, okay? I don't think I mentioned this, but over here you see that the majority was even numbers, odd numbers, evens. Okay, so you can see that for the last 20 drawings or so, the majority has been even numbers. So I'm going to predict that this next one's going to be odd numbers. The majority will be odd numbers, I believe. And probably the one after that as well. So looking at this one with the green, I notice that they're all even numbers. That's why I'm going to go with it. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the 8, 14, 26, 31. Okay, Okay, so I'll get rid of the 826. Then the 42, 48, 60, 66. So I'll get rid of that 42. And hopefully that does not come up. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so you can see a 000 usually comes up here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And the yellow hasn't had a 000 in a while. It's only had one, where the other colors have had at least two. Well, except for the blue. So I'm going to go with this yellow. Hopefully it will be a 000. And I'll go with the 13, 19, 47, 53. So I get rid of the 13, 19, 53. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. The same thing with this brown. The 000 hasn't come up in a while. I'm kind of looking at this purple as well. Alright, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to move on to the next one. This is 8C. Thing that stands out to me is this brown over here. It's been pretty hot. Maybe it's time to cool off. The purple 0 and the blue haven't had a 000 in a while. In fact, the red as well. So I'm going to look at the red, blue, and brown. Kind of liking this yellow to have a hit to it. The only thing I got left is the 329. Okay, so you can see a bunch of green over here, which means I think that this is going to be a red number. So maybe one of these blue numbers will be coming up. Okay, I'm moving on. Don't really see anything. I kind of like this purple because I don't see any 000s. Don't see any in the green, the gray either. But I'm going to go with this purple. Hopefully it's due to have a 000, so I'm going to get rid of the 18, 19, 28, 29, 22. And then the 57 to the 60. so I'll get rid of the 29 and the 57. And hopefully those numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on. See a bunch of green here. Kind of thinking that this is going to be a red number, which means the majority of the numbers will be on this side, if I guess correctly. Okay, really don't like this, so I'm gonna move on to group 10. So here's the overview, and again I'm looking for the 03s. Looking for one that hasn't come up in a while. And here it is in the turquoise. Okay, so hopefully I'm thinking that this is going to be a 03 here. And here I already marked it, so I'm going to go with it. The 15, 23, 31, 34, and 49 to the 67. And there's no numbers to get rid of. Okay, so moving on. Turquoise again. I get rid of the 4, 5, 19. Then the 38, 53, 57, and the 42. Again, there's no numbers there. I'm going to go with the turquoise again. Maybe not. I did like that 9. I've changed my mind here, so I think I'm going to go with I don't know. I'm going to not pick here, so I'm just going to move on to the original here. Okay, I got group 4. Since I have no numbers at the top, I'm just going to look for some long streaks. Like here's a long streak. Okay, so these lines, they're good for 5 of these. Okay, so there's actually 15 drawings here. But I can see that there's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 hits in a row in this line. So maybe it'll do to have a 0 to it. Okay, so I'm really not seeing anything. Except for maybe this orange. Okay, I'm not liking it, so I'm moving on to group 6. Okay, so I got 7 of these option cards here. And again, I'm looking for long streaks like this red right here. Okay, not seeing anything. I kind of like this purple. I think I'll go with this purple. So it's the 35 to the 65 and then these 4 squares. There's no numbers to get rid of. I kind of like this purple over here. You see all the green over here, which means the majority of the numbers have been landing over here on the right side. So I'm going to go with this purple. I'll get rid of the 37, 44, 45, 53, 54, 62. I'll get rid of the 45. And that's it. Okay, my last option card. Kind of like this yellow over here with the long red streak. I'm going to go with that. I get rid of the 21, 29, 15, 24, 32. So I'll get rid of the 21, 24. I'll get rid of the 46. Okay, so I'm getting down here. I got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. I need to get rid of 6 more numbers. Okay, so that's all I had was 7 option cards. And now I'm going to go to group 8. And the first thing that kind of stands out to me is this orange. Do see a lot of red over here, so maybe the majority of the numbers will be over here to the right side, especially this yellow. Okay, so the 44 to the 51. I got the 50, so I kind of like that 50. But I like the orange to miss. And I'll get rid of any numbers from the 18 to the 26. So I'll get rid of the 25. And hopefully that number does not come up. Okay, so I got 9 of these option cards. Thinking that there might be a hit here in the turquoise. 7, 9, and the 7 all the way down to the 68. So I got the 16 and the 50. Well, there's that 50 again. Okay, so here, kind of like this red over here. It's been wicked hot. Maybe it's time to cool down. Okay, so I'm going to go with this red. And it's this big ring right here with the 61. And I got nothing to get rid of. Okay, so moving on. Option card number 4. Kind of like a hit here in the purple. I got the 1, 3, 11, 13, 39, 41, 43, 49, 51. I got the 1 and the 3. I've seen that 3 a couple times now. Okay, so I'm looking over here. I see lots of red, so I'm thinking that this next number is going to be green. Kind of like to see a hit here in the pink. There's that 50. Other than that, don't really like anything. Well, here's a long streak here in the turquoise. Hopefully that streak is going to end. I'll go with that. $37, $38, $46, $47, and the 52. I think that 52 is still there. I'll get rid of the 52. Now I got 4, 7, 8, 9. I need to get rid of 4 more numbers. Kind of like this turquoise to have a mist to it. You see that they're all even numbers. I think that 10 is still there. So I'll take that turquoise and I'll get rid of the 10. Okay, I'm down to 8 numbers left. Need to get rid of 3 more. See a bunch of green. See a bunch of hits in this pink. I'm going to go with the pink. Even though I did kind of like that 9, I'm still gonna go with it. So I will get rid of that 9. Okay, so I got 1, 2 even numbers. Actually 3. I think the majority is going to be odds. So I want to get rid of either the 2, 16. We'll keep on moving on. Don't really see anything, so I'm going to move on to group 10. Again, I haven't seen a 000 here and a light blue in a little while. Even more in the orange. See lots of red over here, so I'm thinking the orange. I don't think there's any numbers to get rid of. There's no numbers there. Kind of thinking that there's going to be a hit here in the green. I got rid of them all. So hopefully it keeps on becoming a 0 here. Kind of like the brown over here. Nothing left. Okay, my last one. You know, I do kind of like this red over here. It's been awful hot. See lots of red over here as well. I think I'll take this red and get rid of the 16. Okay, so I gotta get rid of one more. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to this Powerball number 3, the 6A and 6B. So I think the majority of the numbers are going to be over. I think this is going to be a green, where I think the majority of the numbers will be here. So let's check out the purple. I don't have anything. Maybe the yellow. There's the 1. Okay, so keep on moving on. Kind of like this green to have a hit. There's that 55. So far I like the 1, I like the 50, and I like the 55. Kind of like this orange to have a hit. There's that 3. So far I like the 1, 3, 50, 55, so I'm down to the 2 or the 17. Okay, so I'm going to look at these 10 color groups again, see if I can't get anything one way or another. Kind of like to see a hit here in the brown. And there's that too. So I'll get rid of the 17. And the numbers I'm going to go with are the 1, 2, 3, 50, 55. Okay, so let's take a look at the Powerball number. Okay, the last one that came up was the 15. So over here on this side, if you see a red number, that's high, 14 and 26. Of course, there's 26 Powerball numbers. So if you see a blue number, that's low, 1 to 13. And on this side, it's odds and evens. So if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a black number, that's evens. Okay, so you can see a bunch of odd numbers have been coming up. So I'm going to predict that this is going to be a black number. I think it's going to be an even number. And over here you can see that I had a long streak of blue, which means low. So I think that this is going to go another red. So I think it's going to be a high even number. And the oldest number that hasn't come up in a while are these two, the 24 and the 16. Came up pretty close together. So the 24 to 16. I think I'm going to go with the 24. So again, I'm going to go with the 1, 2, 3, 50, 55, and the Powerball 24. Okay, so like Sherlock Holmes would say, it's a matter of deduction. So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these 5 highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so let's go over the odds real quick. The odds to get the grand prize 5 white ball numbers and the Powerball number, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you're going to get it correct. My game is geared up for mostly the white ball numbers. And just to get the 5 white balls correct, it's 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to say that this is going to be easy to do. Another great prize would be 4 white ball numbers in the Powerball. That pays $50,000 plus the power play if you play it. You can see that the odds are just about 1 in a million. Okay, so I want to know how much I'm spending, what my budget is. Okay, so if I spend $3 per drawing, there's 3 drawings per week. And that will equal $468 a year that I will spend on my game Decoding the Powerball. Okay, so in closing, again, you can support my game through my Patreon page at patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And if you'd like to give me any feedback at all, then you could email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, so there's no the in there, it's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. And as always, with $100 million on the line, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.